Good morning. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Tom Richardson. I'm the chairman of the historic Hudson-Hoosic Rivers Partnership. We're going to start off today. We have the Schuylerville High School choir behind us, so I'd like them. They're going to sing the Star Spangled Banner and a couple of other songs. And I'd like them to do that because they have to rush back to school because they've got an exam this afternoon, they tell me. So, and it's trigonometry, so I don't know how you people did in trigonometry, but I had a problem. So, Jody, whenever you're ready, thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed as the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets spread glare, the bombs bursting in and gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Eternal Father, strong to save, whose arm about the restless wave, who bids the mighty ocean deep, whose own appointed limits keep. Oh, hear us when we cry to thee, for those in peril on the sea. From Aztec shore to Arctic, so to Europe and Far East, the flag is carried by our ships in times of war and peace. And never have we struck it yet in spite of foam and fight, who's cheered our crews and cheered again for showing how to fight. We're always ready for the call. We place our trust in thee. Through service, storm, and having gale, I shall our purpose be. Semper Paratus is our guide, our fame, our glory true, to fight, to save, or fight and die. I Coast Guard, we are for you. Off we go into the wild blue yonder, climbing high into the sun. Here they come, soon to meet our thunder. Atom boys, give her the gun. Now down we dive, spouting our flame from under. Off on one hell of a course. We live in fame or go down in flame. Hey, nothing will stop the U.S. Air Force. Over hill, over dale, as we hit the dusty trail, and those caissons go rolling along. In and out, hear them shout, counter march and right about, and those caissons go rolling along. Then in fly high here, the field artillery, shout out your numbers loud and strong. For where'er you go, you always know that those caissons go rolling along. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, we
That was Jody Light, music teacher at Schuylerville High School with some of the Schuylerville choir. Thank you, Jody, so much. The kids are rushing back. They've got to take a trig exam this afternoon, so thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule. For those, I just want to give a little history about the partnership. We started meeting about 10 years ago at the National Battlefield in an office that 4 or 5 of us sat around. And what happened was, as we began to reach out to communities and non-for-profits, we ended up with, today we now meet in Tom Wood's building, the town of Saratoga, and we have 24 communities, 17 non-for-profits, the National Battlefield obviously, as well as the Canal Corporation, DEC, and Parks and Recs is all part of this, this partnership now. So what I'd like to do at this time is ask Senator Kathy Marchionne to step up and say a few words, please. I want to apologize. Our sound system is over in the rain, so we just have to project our voice a little. I'm sorry.
I would rather have the sound system in the rain than all of us. So thank you so much for moving this in. Good morning, everyone. It is a real pleasure to be here with all of you on this very exciting day. Assemblywoman Warner and I really have focused on the partnership. I know myself from the beginning, being able to secure what would be seed money for $100,000 when I first became senator, and watching and having staff come to these meetings and observe and be part of this has been such an exciting part of what we do through our office. Most recently, Assemblywoman and I worked together for a $200,000 amount of money so that this could move forward. And we're just thrilled. You know, when I walked in, I was parked over here, and there were 3 cars. And then I walked in here and said, "Oh my gosh, how did everyone else get here?" But it's a real pleasure to be here. I want to thank Supervisor Wood. I want to thank the partnership. I want to thank Supervisor Richardson as well. And all, I saw the Stillwater supervisors outside cooking. It's just been such a wonderful partnership with so many people and organizations and political people involved in this. I see County Administrator is here. Thank you for being here. This is such an important day as you start now the frame raising of this magnificent building. And it's just certainly not just a building. Saratoga is so rich and steeped in history, especially Revolutionary War history. For us to be able to have this building and work together as a partnership is another addition to Saratoga County, to be able to help economically as well in business and having people come in. That all helps our community. So thank you to each and every one of you who are involved in the partnership. Thank you to my partner in the Assembly for working the work so well together. And thank you to everyone for being here this morning. Assemblywoman Carrie Warner.
Thank you so much. It really is a pleasure to be here today, and thank you to my partner in the Senate. This is really a phenomenal project to work on, and the partnership. You guys you've held a vision, and you're really making it happen, and congratulations to you, and thank you for all the work that you do. There's a variety of reasons why I'm excited about this particular project, and the first is that I think it's really a very unique partnership. We talk about shared services and the efforts of sharing services between municipalities as a way to be more efficient and cost savings, and those are great things. But this is a collection of communities that are getting together to realize an opportunity to do economic development together. And I think that's a very unique model in our state. And that this organization is working and working well together is really a testament to the vision of these communities and the leaders in these communities. So that's the first reason that I'm excited about this. The second reason I'm excited about this is because the Timber Framers Guild that is here is really moving a traditional craft forward. And we are going to be able to see a traditional building, what might have been in place when the revolution was taking place. We're going to be able to see it here in our community today because of the craftsmanship and the preservation of the craft that the Timber Framer Guild has brought to our community, and that our architects and the leaders of this group have wanted to see happen. So that's my second reason. The third reason I'm excited about this is because heritage tourism, for those that don't know, is a branch of tourism where people stay twice as long and they spend 3 times as much money as any other type of tourist. So from an economic development perspective, this is really a phenomenal strategy for our region to bring more heritage tourism here. So because I think that's such a great opportunity and we have such a rich heritage, I think this is a great strategy for us to be pursuing from an economic development perspective. And the fourth reason I'm excited about this is, some of you have heard me say this before, but I have ancestors who fought in the Battle of Saratoga. 2 for the Americans and 1 for the Brits. I was covered in either way. But so much of our country's history happened here. And for many of us, we have, on branches of our family tree, a connection to what happened here in Schuylerville, here in Stillwater, here on the canal, and that we can all feel connected in a real way to this project. So I think this is just a phenomenal, phenomenal project. It's been a pleasure to be able to bring resources to support this, to work with my partner in the Senate. And I just want to say I'm so excited to be here today, and congratulations to all of you who have carried this flame for a long time. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Brian Stratton, Director of the Canal Corporation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. I'm Brian Stratton, Director of the New York State Canal Corporation, and on behalf of Governor Andrew Cuomo and our NYPA and Canal Corporation Chairman John Comel, it is a distinct pleasure to be with you today for this happy and historic, and a little bit wet occasion. I'm so glad to be joined with all of you, and particularly with our great senator and assemblywoman, our mayor, and our chairman, and all of our supervisors, and everyone who has worked together so tirelessly over the years to make this project happen. This is a very big year for New York State canals. It was 200 years ago next month that ground was broken to begin digging the Erie Canal. But people forget that it was the Champlain Canal that actually opened first in 1823, a full 2 years before the Erie Canal would open in 1825. So we can rightfully say today that the Champlain Canal was first in history, and today here in Schuylerville is certainly first in our hearts. Let me thank the partnership for your vigilance, and yes, your persistence and patience as we worked hard to make this project happen. And as we talk today about the bicentennial 200 years of the Erie Canal, I'm sure that Joe Finan and Tom are thinking that it's probably 100 years since this project first was started. It hasn't been that long, Chairman, I want to tell you that. And good things are worth waiting for. The Champlain Canal Regional Gateway Visitor Center will serve travelers along the canal and the canal corridor when they come in by boat or by bike, as well as the many travelers that will come into this region by car. The Canal Corporation was pleased to support this project in what was, I believe, the first round of Governor Cuomo's Regional Economic Development Councils and the CFA with a $191,000 Canal Corporation Canalway grant. And that is part of over $2.2 million that have gone to canal-related projects in the capital region under the Economic Development Council since 2011. That's the capital region. Now, if you go statewide, and the canal covers 7 economic development regions, we have $6.5 million that have gone to 63 canal projects. Not all of them have taken so long to get to this stage, but not all of them are as great either. And these grants are truly important because the canal community and the canal corridor and our canals are an economic engine. Nearly $400 million a year in tourism spending. That's very, 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 very big along the canal and the Canalway Trail. And we know this center will help to build upon that number, fortify it, and make it even stronger. So let me again close by congratulating the partnership and all of our state and local partners who work so hard to help get this done and get us to where we are today. Thank you so much.
I just want to mention this before we go any farther. We're not done. You realize that, right? Because we're gonna need more money. We need to finish the building too, right? So let's not forget that. So all those millions you were talking about, save a couple in your back pocket for us, please. Our next speaker is Janet Kennedy from Lakes to Locks Passages. Janet, you want to come up?
Good morning. I have to say I'm really pleased to be here. There's a few faces that I've reconnected with I haven't seen for a few years. It was 20 years ago, I believe, that we first sat in the Saratoga Library talking about how there should be a building here in this park in a partnership with the National Park Service and all the communities. And it's great that we're a lot closer than we were. So we're going to celebrate continuing with this. For those of you who don't know, Lakes to Locks Passage is a national scenic byway. Here in New York State, it goes from the Canadian border all the way down to Albany and Troy, linking the interconnected waterway that really shaped the history of America as we know it today. And I think one of the real motivating forces for that unifying the Lake Champlain, Lake George, and Champlain Canal region is on the Revolutionary War history and the Battle of Saratoga. And so it's great to have this really come and become a reality. A couple days ago, I ran across some words by David McCullough, the famous author, and he spoke about how history is about connections. Nothing happens in isolation. Everything that happens has consequences. We are all part of a larger stream of events, past, present, and future. We are all beneficiaries of those who went on before us. Lakes to Locks Passage really embraces this in our work to unify the communities and to really bring our stories together and bring the past that shapes the future. And that's our goal with the exhibits that are going to be in this building. Through a Federal Highway National Scenic Byway grant, we're going to be able to bring the exhibits that are not going to be like a museum. Instead, we're sending people to the museums of all the communities of this region, as well as the national park. And so it'll be the hub for what are the experiences. And those are going to really focus on the canal as it connected the communities. It fostered social reform, and it really spurred economic growth for this whole region. And then the other major story is this military history, Saratoga as the turning point of the American Revolution, and really linking all of these waterways and why New York is so important in our history and founding of America. So I look forward to developing those, and I'm excited with working with all the communities because they're all going to be focused in the future within this visitor center. So thank you again.
Just a piece of history here. I don't know if everybody realizes this or not, but where the building is being built in the grounds just behind it was where General Burgoyne's army actually laid down their arms at the battles of Saratoga and walked away from the battle. So it's a very historic spot, and that's why it was important for us to put the building there. I'd like to call Tom Wood, who is the Town of Saratoga Supervisor, which I'm sure mostly everybody here knows him. So Tom, please.
On behalf of the Town of Saratoga, I would like to extend very warm and genuine and sincere greetings to everyone here. You're brave souls, and we appreciate your spirit to turn out on a day that's not weather-wise the best. but just as our earlier predecessors here, during the battles of Saratoga, the siege that took place here in the Schuylerville area here, the weather wasn't great then either, but it's good now. The site of the Regional Gateway Visitor Center, as Tom has indicated, is a very historic site, the former site of the town of Saratoga Town Hall. We had a lot of pressure to sell that site for other possible uses, but in our minds, our town board's mind, that site was the best spot for the Gateway Visitor Center, and with the cooperation and help of hundreds of people, it's turning out to be a reality here. We're on the banks of the old canal. We're here at the Field of Grounded Arms. We're at a place where American history was made, and it's just a great spot to have it. And again, on behalf of the town, I want to thank everybody in the partnership. This happened over a long period of time with a lot of dedicated people working very hard, committing themselves, and this Timber Frame Guild, the work that they have done, the quality of the workmanship is absolutely superb, and it will be a showplace that people will enjoy seeing and learning about post and beam construction here. And so to everyone that has helped, thank you so much, and you'll have to come back because in about next spring we figure it'll be open to the public, all the internal exhibits will be completed, and we'll have another fine get-together. So thanks for coming today.
You know, I go to many meetings over the years, and I often wonder why people do what I'm about to do. And I can honestly say that I now know why they do it. We've had so many people who've been involved with this project for many different reasons, and mostly all of the workers, all of the things that people I'm going to read off, it's all volunteer. We're all here as volunteers. We're doing this because it's a great place to be, and we love our community. So at the expense of somebody saying in the back there someplace that this is the Mutual Admiration Society, it really is not. But I would like to read the list, and I do have a couple of pages of people who've helped us, so I want to make sure that I call all their names out. So please bear with me. First of all, certainly Governor Cuomo. Secondly, Brian Stratton from the New York State Canal Corporation. My two friends here on the right, Senator Kathy Marchione and Assemblywoman Terry Warner. Betty Little, who's also a member of the New York State Senate. Stephen Engelbright, who's not here today, with the New York State Assembly. One of our founding fathers, Roy McDonald, a member ex officio of New York State Senate. Tom Wood, supervisor of the town of Saratoga, who just spoke. And Tom's town council, they were very patient. They hung in there with us. We kept saying to them, listen, I went to several of their meetings, and we kept saying, listen, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. And they were very patient and very helpful, and here we are today. I want to thank Dan Carpenter, our new mayor of the village of Schuylerville. I want to thank Ed Kanowski, the chairman of the Saratoga County Board of Supervisors. Now, if you don't know who Ed is, Ed's the gentleman, I know he's going to be mad at me with this, with the yellow shirt on in the back, but Ed is running around doing all the cooking, so after this, when we have some lunch, you can thank Ed for doing all the cooking in the background. And if you heard some noise back there in the kitchen, we have volunteers back there getting things ready too, so just so everybody knows what's happening. Bill Peck, supervisor from the town of Northumberland. Also, the entire board of supervisors from Saratoga County. They've really stepped forward to help us here and let us borrow some money that we much needed so that we could get a lot of things going here, and then we'll reimburse them as our grants come in. I want to thank Spencer Helwig. Spencer, thank you. Just raise your hand if you would. The Saratoga County Administrator. Spencer is the guy who cuts the checks for us and does a great job. So Spencer, thanks for all you do. Bob Henke, the chairperson of Washington County Board of Supervisors. Don Ormsby, the superintendent of the Saratoga Town Highway Department. Kelly Sullivan, the New York State Canal Corporation. Kelly's the lady that's one of our contacts that we're constantly sending her information so that we can get our grant money out of the system, okay? Devin Landers from New York State, he's the New York State historian, and I want to mention Devin again because he was one of the first 5 people that were in on this organization when we first hit the ground running. Elaine Balchinian, Regional Director of the New York State OPRHP. Danielle Dwyer, New York State OPRHP also. She's another lady that we send information to on a regular basis because we have a grant through there also. And so they're all very helpful. Janet Kennedy, Lakes to Locks. Linda McCabe, the clerk for the town of Saratoga, Bill Reynolds, the Saratoga town attorney, Gavin Landry, New York State, I Love New York, Amy Bracewell, our superintendent of Saratoga National Historic Park, Rob Decker, Village of Schuylerville DPW, Ryan Sherman, the superintendent of schools here at Schuylerville, who was so kind as to let the choir come down today, Chuck Vandry and Dylan Walrath from DEC, Jason Kemper, Saratoga County Planner, Krista Bolt from Washington County, administrative personnel, people, Joe Finan retired from as director. Where are you, Joe? Oh, he's over here now. From the National Battlefield, the National Park, excuse me. When he retired, we wouldn't let him go. We made him stay on. He's done an outstanding job of coordinating everything that we're doing here to put up this building. So Joe, thank you. And again, it's all volunteer time. It's you know, Joe, for the love of this region. So thank you, Joe. Michelle DeGarmo, our grants and contracts manager. Michelle is here someplace. Michelle, thank you. Dave Roberts, our construction manager. Dave, thank you very much. Drew Alberti from Lakes Locks. Drew does a lot of work behind the scenes for us that nobody really sees the things that happen, but he makes a lot happen. So it's an important job he has. Local vendors and supporters. Mark McGee from the Timber Frame Guild. Jeff Arnhem. And Jeff, I am remiss. I owe you an apology. Where are you, Jeff? Right here. Jeff, I'm going to get back to you in a couple minutes if you don't mind. Neil Godden, for project manager of the Timber Frame Guild. Byron Peregrine from Byron's Market. I don't know if Byron was able to make it here, but we are constantly running up there getting food, and everything is absolutely delicious. And he just trusts us. He just keeps giving us food, and we're telling him we're going to pay him, right, Dave? Right? Okay. Doug Ford, the vice president for Curtis Lumber. Steve Imlaw, the manager of the Schuylerville Curtis Lumber. Here. There we go. Thank you. Are they here by any chance? Thank you so much. They really saved us last year. We had all kinds of timber and a lot of things that you see that are on the building right now that were ready to go, but we had to store them someplace through the winter. And so Curtis Lumber was kind enough to let us do that at no expense. So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. I should say this at this point. I know I'm going to miss somebody, and I apologize. I'm going to apologize up front for that. I don't know who that person or persons will be, but I always forget somebody. So I want to say that right now, please. Don Minery for Saratoga Associates, Britt Bassinger from the Chasing Companies, John Bowe from Bowe Fuels in Mechanicville, Mike Rauchi from the Clifton Park Toyota. They've all made financial contributions. Rosemary Gallo from Anvil Fence, Nicole Danzel from the Stone Portable Toilets, some of our subcontractors, Matt Van Buren from the Corner Post Surveying, Larry Ashcroft from Ashcroft Construction and Excavation, Paul Barron, Buffalo Drilling, Micropiles, Vic Macri for VMJR Incorporated. Bear with me, please. There's only a few more. Mike Balastro from M&J Construction, Backfill and Grading, Bill Boyce, BJ Farms, Backfill Materials, Gary Wilder from Wilder Electric, Tracy from B&B Plumbing. Our community supporters, John Hebring from Fort Miller Group, Nate Darrow from Saratoga Apple, Kyle McPhail from Storage Containers, Bob Foote from Foote's Amish Sheds, Bob and Lorraine Thompson, Tents, Russ Hanson from the Schuylerville Lions Club, Kyle McPhail, Storage Containers, from the Greenwich Lions Club, Dave Collins, again, John Sherman, Superintendent of Schools here in Schuylerville, Marla Hodge and Marie Foster, Schuylerville Area Chamber, Todd Shimkus from the Saratoga County Chamber of Commerce. There's a little group of names here. Mary Roberts, Mary Finan, Julie Stokes, Tim Holmes, Drew Alberti. Those people are some of the people that you're not seeing that are behind the scenes cooking dinner for all of the people that have spent weeks here last year and this week here now, just spending all kinds of their free time and making sure everybody's fed and fed properly, so everybody gets the proper Thanks, that clapping started from these people over here. These are the volunteers that are working with the Timber Frame Guild, so thank you. So they obviously appreciate the meals, right? Phil and Judy Dean from the Schuyler Yacht Basin, Dave Gauchi, Schuylerville school teacher. He brought his, he's a tech teacher here at Schuylerville, He brought his classroom down last year when a lot of this wood was being put together right out of trees and everything else, and the wooden pegs were being made. Dave, were you making the wooden pegs at that time that were going to be used here? He brought the kids down. They thought it was absolutely terrific. We sent them some of the wood that was, I'm going to say scrap wood that couldn't be used for anything. They built a miniature building for us, which was going to be placed in the Schuylerville Public Library. So thank you to Dave Gauchi. Jody Light and the Schuylerville High School Choir, once again, Stewart's Corporation, all of the local timber frame volunteers who attend all the workshops and fabricated the building frame, and certainly all of the members of this partnership. We are, to say the least, this has been a 10-year project coming this far, trying to get the people together, the money together, all of those names that I just read, all of the logistics to all of that, and I'm going to say 95% of all of this that's being done is all volunteer work, so everybody should know that. So it's a great community, great things are happening. So we're going to try, and I'm not sure, Joe, are we going to try to raise the sign?
I don't believe so, Neil.
Okay.
It really is weather dependent. I don't know how bad it's coming down out there now.
Okay.
So Tom, could we have the timber framers raise their hands?
Yeah, could the timber
Yeah,
framers stand up, please, and raise your hands, come on, please.
Thank you all.
Well, Joe, we're hoping, when the rain lets up a little bit, we're hoping to get 1 or 2 vents up today.
Okay.
I don't know what it's going right now. It looks a little heavy.
Yep.
But as soon as we can get something up, we will. And then, if not, tomorrow morning, it looks like a nice day. So.
Great. Thank you, Neil. I will say Neil and I have been in kind of a partnership for the last year and gotten to know him, and I'll tell you what, he's done a fine job and really deserves some credit for pulling this all together and tolerating myself and Dave and all the other challenges that confronted him. So I really do appreciate Neil.
Joe, thank you. Dale, thank you so much. I'm sorry about the weather today. We were hoping that we could get some of you pulling ropes so we could pull up the sides of the building. Obviously, that's not going to happen today, but I want to thank you all for coming today. I think today is certainly a special day for the partnership and a special day for everyone who's participated in this project. And I just want to say thanks to everyone. So thank you all for coming. I think Ed and our other volunteers probably have lunch ready, so if you want to hang around and have a bite to eat, you're certainly welcome to do that. We're hoping that you stay because we took the time to cook a lot of hot dogs and things of that nature. So thanks so much for coming. We appreciate it.
Sweet up.
Oh, Jeff, I said I'd get back to you, Jeff. I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I told you I would miss somebody, right? And I want to apologize. Jeff is the executive director for the Timber Frame Guild.
Yeah.
Jeff, I'm sorry.
Well, yes, I'm the executive director of the Timber Framers Guild, and it's really a pleasure to work on behalf of these kind of fellows and people that you've seen working here, not just in the last few days, but also last September. Actually, it was in last August that we started working here, and so we've been working here for quite a while. You know, historically, the Timber Framers Guild has been involved in what we call our community building projects since 1989. In that time, we've done about 80 of these projects. We've done them all over the U.S. and Canada. We've also done them in Paraguay. We did a project in, is that right, Paraguay? You guys help me out. You know, it's South America. and in Poland. So we've been around, and you know, our first goal on every one of the first and most important goal for every one of these projects is to leave the community very happy. And I hope we've achieved that here in Schuylerville. I believe we have. I know we've made a really good effort. So in that regard, I want to thank the Historic Hudson Hoosic Partnership, the Triple HP, for their commitment, their vision and will. These are the things, this is what I see as is the most important element that a community brings to one of these projects, is vision and will. If the community brings vision and will, we have a way. So, you know, again, this is just an opportunity for us to display our craft. Now, the councilwoman, assemblywoman, right? Yeah, mentioned that the Guild preserves a craft. And indeed we do, but I want to put a slightly different spin on that, because when you think about craft, you think about tools, you think about materials, you think about artifacts. And it's not the artifacts that are important to preserve, but it's the artisans that are important to preserve. And that's what each of these people that you've seen working here over the last several days and last September, they're the arcs that carry the skills and the techniques and the talent that preserves a craft. So, you know, when I look out at a building site like this or a group like this, I don't just see you know, I don't want to call them just good-looking people, because I mean, some of you guys are honest. But I don't just see people. What I see is creativity. I see skill. I see talent. I see commitment. I see passion in a group of people like this. And those are the things that I think that will move our communities forward. You can get as discouraged as you want about whatever's going on, but every time I come and work with a group of timber framers, I walk away inspired. I want to share just one little piece with you. One of our members who's working here today has been involved in timber framing about as long as I have, which means, you know, a long time. But Megan asked Dave this question. You know, you've been doing this for 30-some years. Why did you come? Why did you come to this? And Dave thought for a minute and he said, well, in part, it's an affirmation. You know, I work with my colleagues and I'm once again reminded, yeah, what we do is good and what we do is important. But here's the best part, Dave also said, it's also humbling. After 30 years, he's still learning. After 30 years, he's still seeing that people are developing and moving this craft forward. And that's the other important piece. We're not just, and I believe, your name? I think you said this. We are connected to history, but history is connected to the present and to the future. And that, once again, is one of the I think, important things that the timber framers bring to the world. So, thank you very much.
As I said earlier, for some reason I always miss somebody. So Jeff, I apologize. Thank you for being here. The program's officially over. We're hoping that you people will stay and have some lunch with us. And if anybody has any questions after we're all done here, for anybody, please feel free to hang around and ask as many questions as you like. Thank you so much.
Tom, can I just interrupt?